Welcome to today's episode of Decentralized TV. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighteon.com, the free speech video network. And we're going to be joined here by my co-host, Todd Pittner, in just a second. And then our featured guest today is Rob Braxman. We'll bring him in just a minute. And I'm super excited about this. Welcome to the show, Todd. How cool is this that we have Braxman on today, by the way?
It's crazy. When you told me that he was going to be coming on, I'm like, the Rob Braxman?
And you're That's like, the guy. Yeah.
So no, this is amazing. He's a privacy advocate, cybersecurity expert. He has forgotten more about all of this than certainly I'll ever know. So I can't wait to dig into this.
Oh, me too. This is a show that we needed to do because we haven't really covered like degoogled phones and the pitfalls of VPNs and things like that. But let's just go ahead and bring him in. Rob Braxman, welcome to the show, Rob. I'm a huge fan of your work. You're known as the privacy tech expert on YouTube and other places. Your website is brax.me. So welcome to the show, Rob. Great to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's an
Happy
honor.
To be here.
We love your work. You've educated millions of people. You want to give us just a little background for the audience of what you're all about?
Well, I started doing social media on Periscope. Periscope was part of Twitter back then. That was X. And then they shut it down. And then I shifted to YouTube, what is it, 2.5 years ago? And it just blew up on YouTube. So I was already popular on Periscope. And so I just been keeping the message very clear. It's all about privacy. That's what I talk about. And cybersecurity is a little bit different than privacy. Most people don't understand that. So that's been my focus.
What I love about your work, Rob, is that you make it very practical and straightforward for everyday people to get into the solutions that improve their privacy. And you also talk about why privacy is important. And you and I were just chatting. It's difficult to get people on board to why privacy matters. I mean, Todd Pittner understands. I mean, we're all about privacy and in crypto and other things as well, but privacy absolutely matters. You want to speak to that, Rob?
Well, people don't actually understand that when you lose your privacy, then somebody is able to control you. And I have so many videos talking about this, about how, for example, 3-letter agencies maintain lists. Snowden just made a post on X where he said, the 3-letter agency that begins with the F is well known for making lists of people. YouTube, I don't mean YouTube. Google has a partner, Moonshot CVE, out of London, that actually shows you that they categorize people based on their beliefs. So, for example, if you're anti-vax, they have a list of people with an actual map, and you can actually pinpoint by house which ones are anti-vax people. I mean, this is crazy. Why do we need to have someone have that kind of power over us where they know what you believe? It's crazy.
Well, right. And we're living in a time when you don't have to be a criminal to be on a list. You just have to be a thought criminal or a speech criminal.
That's correct.
And I mean, Jordan Peterson in Canada was just, I don't know if you knew this, Todd, but I covered it yesterday. Jordan Peterson, regardless of what anybody thinks of his positions on anything, he was just, in effect, sentenced by I guess it's a psychological association, to a re-education camp to be re-educated for his views on the climate and transgenderism.
You're kidding me.
Good thing it's only that. I thought it was they were going to cancel him out and do stuff like that.
That's a good point.
But he said he's going to record the re-education and broadcast it. So I thought he gets the upper hand. That's going to be fun. But anyway, aside from personalities and politics, the point is that every person deserves privacy. You and I, Rob and Todd, we would describe privacy as a basic human right. So Rob, I mean, you offer technology solutions and even hardware. Can you talk about some of what you offer and also your social media site?
Yeah, so I have my own site. It's brax.me, and it's a social media site, and I happen to sell products right there on that site because it's mine. And it's a community of people who have followed me for a long time, and they talk about privacy issues and cybersecurity issues on there. And what I've tried to explain to people is that the threat can be resolved. You can counter the threat. It's a little hard. You do have to be proactive in this, but you can counter the threat if you understand how we are being manipulated and being tracked and being surveilled. And so one thing that's really obvious that most people don't even think about is that the main way you're tracked is with a Google ID.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, such a basic thing, a Google ID. And people don't realize that your phone has your Google ID. Every time you go to Chrome, every time you go to your browser, you have a Google ID. Every time you use Gmail, you have a Google ID. And this spreads much faster than you even imagine, because actually everything you do on the internet can be attributed to a Google ID. You go visit a website, that website knows your Google ID, reports it to Google. So therefore, you can't actually escape. They know everything you do. Everything, including your location, your phones, your standard phones. I've explained the technology in many videos, and they lie about it. They don't talk about it, but the fact of the matter is that phones are tracking your location 24/7, iPhones and Android phones, Google Androids. And so when you understand how the threat is actually implemented, in the technology realm here, you find that there's a solution. So that's what I've been focused on, is educating people on how to evade the Google ID.
Perfect.
So it's really basic, and it's fortunately, it's a very, very powerful way. And you mentioned one of those ways, and one of those ways is to have a degoogled phone. So a degoogled phone, I have one right here. A degoogled phone does not have any Google on it. So when you turn it on, there's never a point where you have to put in a Google ID. As you know, if you buy a normal phone, you buy your Samsung from the store, you have to put your Google ID on that. I've never put a Google ID on this.
Amen, brother. Right here. Same deal. And Google has never touched this phone or a bunch of other phones I have.
Yeah, so
never logged in.
Because there's no login. I mean, common sense will tell you, well, how do they know who's on the phone? Well, they actually have other ways of tracking the phone using IMEI, MAC addresses. There's other identifiers on the phone, and they do it, and they actually track you with something called cross-device tracking. It's very, very sophisticated. But they can't track you very well without a Google ID. So this is where the Google phones help, because they can't match it to your computer. Your computer may be logged into Google, but there is no way to log into Google on this phone. So therefore, they can't match your activity, because your location is actually tracked on the phone, not on the computer. This is the tracker device. So once you blunt the mobile phone, you actually maybe solve 70% of the problem right there. Suddenly you're invisible for 70% of your activity. And people ask me, oh, wow, what do I have to do when I get the Google phones? Do I have to do something different? Do I have to do VPNs? Do I do this, do that? And they come up with all these rules. And I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you have a Google phone, nobody knows who you are anyway. So you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you use any app on the phone. Let's say you want to use, Kindle or Amazon or whatever you can't run anything Google on the phone. It doesn't work. But everything else, that you do, it doesn't matter if you do it. If you use Spotify, it doesn't make any difference, because nobody knows what the phone is. The identifiers are actually never revealed. That's one of the benefits of it. So like I said, that solves, maybe 70% of the privacy problem. And most people don't realize that.
Okay, Todd, I know you're wanting to jump in on this. I want to know your comments, and when are you going to run a degoogled phone, if not already?
Very, very, very soon, because I just wrote down that I now self-identify as a degoogled phone. I kind of like the attributes. But on this degoogled phone, how do you then get the apps? I mean, is it like, do you go to Android App Store or?
Well, there is no Google Play Store, so
okay.
You can't do that. So there are many ways to get apps. There's something that's not been working too well lately. Is called the Aurora Store. So I haven't even been
Yeah.
able to use that because it hasn't been working. But there are two other sites. One of them is apkpure.com. What's the other one?
F-Droid.
No, that's for F-Droid is a non-Google Play Store app store. That's a little bit different.
Okay.
So, but for standard stuff, let's say you want to get Spotify or Kindle or one of those, then you got to go to a Google Play Store. Even Signal, you got to get from a Google Play Store equivalent. So APK Pure is one of them. There's another one I can't remember from top of my head. Anyway, you go to that. You go to the website. You install their store, and then you can download anything you want. Now, one of the characteristics of Google Play Store apps on a degoogled phone is that only 90% of them will work. There's a 10% that will not work. And people will panic and say, well, I can't handle the degoogled phone because I can't run Lyft and Uber, because those are two specific ones that they made not work anymore. It used to work, now it doesn't. So, but Waze works. Google Maps doesn't work. If you actually anything Google doesn't work, but Waze, which is owned by Google for whatever reason, that works.
We like Waze, yeah.
But I know because it doesn't use Google services, so it has its own mapping, it has its own stuff. So because of that, it's kind of exempt. So we actually on our degoogled phones we pre-install Waves, and so you don't have to feel like you're some weirdo without any technology on your phone.
Well, let me answer
do certain things.
Let me answer something that's on Todd's mind. All the crypto apps that I've ever tried work fine.
Yeah, the chances are those will work fine.
Because they're not using Google Play.
Not all. I have one that I had a problem with, but it semi-works, but there's some issues. One called Incognito.
But what? So it's the AKP PK. Okay. And so, Mike, that's where you go to get like Cake Wallet or...
Yeah, well, and by the way, a lot of apps out there, they will have an APK download directly from their own website as well.
From their website. Right? Okay, great.
So what I've created is an APK folder of all my apps that I want to put on phones, right? So I'll have Cake Wallet and I'll have Monero Wallet and I'll have, weather and whatever. And frankly, what I'll do, I'll just plug the phone in to my computer and copy the whole directory into the downloads folder, then activate the permissions on that phone for the Files app, to install unknown apps, and then I just install everything right there, and then those apps can update themselves to the most recent version. So that's the way I do it.
Yeah,
wow, you should make a video of that.
That's kind of a sophisticated user's way. The problem is if you download the APK and they don't have the store that you downloaded from, then there's no trigger to do an update. So that's why I recommend that you actually take it from one of the stores. Like if, let's say you use APK Pure and you install their app, the app will actually update it for you.
That's true. Yeah, I've used that too. I've used APK Pure. The thing about APK Pure is it's very kind of spammy ad intensive.
Very spammy.
Yeah.
Very spammy.
You got to be careful not to click on random stuff that they try to get you to click on.
Okay.
So that's a disadvantage. Now F-Droid. So one of the other ways to install apps is to use F-Droid. Now F-Droid is a little different because the way that the F-Droid Foundation works, they said if you're going to install an app, we have to compile it for you, meaning we get to examine the source code. So F-Droid people take your open source, has to be open. They take it from GitHub, so it has to be open. That's part of the procedure. Then they compile it for you and prepare it. So you can't hide anything in the code. You can't put a little secret, little spyware. It's not possible. So then F-Droid then puts it in the store based on that, and that's why F-Droid is a little bit special.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of this special rule, many can't comply, especially if they're using third-party libraries like I am. I can't put my Braxme app on F-Droid, so it's too much work for me to do it, so I haven't done it. Because I have to actually find replacements to public libraries that I use that are part of Google. So
this is just fascinating. So Rob Braxman, you are privacy advocate, cybersecurity expert, known for discussing topics related to online privacy, digital security, encryption, protecting personal data. Can you provide some strategies on how to secure our privacy online?
Well, where do I start, right? That's kind of a big one.
500 videos.
So
Yeah.
this is it, rather than list out specific solutions. Say get a Google
Okay.
phone, get a VPN, all this. Let's go conceptual here. So I
Okay.
teach this
Great.
same concept everywhere, and I keep repeating it so people understand what the actual goal is.
Okay.
And the goal is actually to remove your identity from your actions on the internet. It's really that simple. Whatever you do on the internet, remove the identity. So what does that mean? Let's say you're kind of political, right? So you go, like most people, they don't think about this. So they go on X or the old Twitter, and they start, hammering everyone there with, comments about whatever, and very, very political and sometimes very aggressive. And of course, they use their real name. They put their real name on their account, and they even put a link to everything, and they show what their friends are. They do this on Facebook, and they do it on Instagram, and they do it on TikTok, again with their real name. And what's the problem? Well, then somebody makes a list out of you. They put you on the list and say, oh, this is we're going to categorize you on the Moonshot CVE list, Jigsaw Google.com list, and classify you as a violent extremist. This is actually true. They actually do categorize people like that. And by the way, the categorization by Google of what a violent extremist is based on your search history. You didn't even commit any violence. Just by searching the internet, they say, "Oh, we're going to classify you as a violent extremist just because you did search on, let's say, Trump." So the problem with this is people are being categorized in a way that puts you in a classification that's of interest to a 3-letter agency when you haven't really committed anything. All you said are words, and in this case, all you did was do a search engine. So you can see the unfairness of this. Now, if you don't have an identity, guess what? Google can't do anything if you don't have a Google ID attached to whatever you search for.
Wow.
Let's say you use startpage.com, one of the things I suggest. Startpage.com is a different search engine, which is a proxy to Google.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Identity.
Startpage.
Startpage.com.
Okay.
Startpage is a proxy. It's a Google proxy. So it searches Google, uses Google search, but they proxy your identity. So to Google, it's Startpage that's doing the search, not you. Because they can't identify you, they can't put you in this list with, Jigsaw, Moonshot CV thing that I was talking about in videos, where they can classify you as a violent extremist because there's no identity. So what I'm trying to say is that if you actually concern yourself with using tools that hide your identity, and identity can be acquired by an IP address, a MAC address, your real name, your Google ID, your Apple ID, your IMEI on the phone, all of this. If you prevent that information from leaking, well, guess what? It doesn't matter what you say on the internet. You can say anything. Because if no one can attribute it, attribution is a very big thing in cybersecurity, because people attack people, with hacking and all that. And often the problem is attribution. If you can't attribute the action, then they can't attack you back. So this is why, state players are very good at hiding that, or maybe they implicate some other state. Somebody attacks Germany and they say, oh, it's China. When in fact it's the U.S.
And Rob,
that's called attribution.
Can I interject here, because one of the things we've covered on my publishing website, Natural News, is the people search for medical information all the time, right? So Google has the most intimate profile of people's medical problems. Like if they're on a searching, like, I can't get it up, I need some blue pills, right? Google has that search phrase. Google knows everything about your sexually transmitted diseases, your mental state, all this stuff. And people just volunteer this stuff they wouldn't tell, their own spouse often.
Well, it's even worse than that because your location is tracked. They know when you visit the doctor. They know how many times you visit the doctor. They know what kind of specialty it is because the address will lead to the same address with the same coordinates as the doctor's office.
Right.
So, and people say, well, they don't do that. Wrong. They do it.
Yeah,
okay?
And they data mine all these data sets.
Right.
In order to, number one, market to you or advertise, but then to hand it over to authorities anytime a 3-letter agency asks a question.
Yeah, this is called geofencing. They can actually geofence a business. For example, the one of the biggest geofencing uses of recent time was the January 6th riots, where they actually filed cases against 1,000 people just from geolocation.
That's right.
Using the Google, they call it the Google Sensor Vault. So Google has a location of everyone with a Google phone or an iPhone, and they put it in the Google Sensor Vault, and all they have to do is say who was over here, and they can spot anyone over there.
Yeah, that's the whole argument right there. I mean, I wouldn't need to hear any more than that if I were someone watching this show saying, should I get a degoogled phone or not? There's your whole argument.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is that people don't even realize this. And I said, if you were there in the Capitol on January 6th and you had a degoogled phone, you're not going to show up on anything.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to do anything.
Brilliant.
You didn't do anything special, but you disappeared without you even having to do anything. And you don't even have to worry about it.
Well, and Rob, we've also seen many true stories where police would go visit someone's home because the geolocation data showed that their phone was near the scene of a crime that was committed without that person's participation or knowledge. It could be 100 meters away. Somebody broke into a bread shop and stole some muffins or something, and now they're at your door asking you to turn over your phone to prove that you're innocent.
Wow.
Right, which is... Can you imagine that? You're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, while you're wiping muffin crumbs off your lips, what muffins? What do you?
Yeah, they actually have several court cases. I just made a video about this a few months ago, where they actually have court cases of this exact thing, where somebody was biking, and this biker was biking around the neighborhood and actually was in the scene of the crime, and this person had to defend himself and spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to defend himself just because he happened to be in the location, and it's totally unconstitutional.
Yeah,
there was no proof, and he was just there based on the geolocation. He won, but then he lost
lots of
tens
money,
of thousands of dollars.
Right. Well, no, Rob, I got to ask you. I know that you offer the Brax phones that are degoogled and pre-installed and everything. But I need to ask you, I know Todd wants me to ask you this, and this is not a setup or anything, and I genuinely want to know, can people use crypto to purchase your phones?
Yeah, they can, yes.
And can they use like privacy crypto?
I currently don't take anything other than BTC and ETH, and it's more of just a personal preference.
Okay, all right. So, all right, well,
it's a conversion preference. It's just I don't want to worry about doing conversions and all that.
Got it. Okay, well, at least people can purchase with crypto. And then what about SIM cards and data?
Right. So you can use any SIM card. Every carrier. Well, it depends on the model. So we sell Pixels too. So the Brax 2. Well, I don't have any more Brax 2, so we're coming up with Brax 3 soon. So the Brax 2 phones, when they were out, they were not really made for Verizon. So when you want Verizon, use one of the Pixels phones. And if you wanted to use T-Mobile or AT&T, then you can use the Brax 2 phone. So depending on what your intent is, we have every phone model that you need to worry about. We have just about every Pixel model, as well as Brax model. So we don't have any more Brax 2. They sold out. So I have Brax 3 coming up soon this year.
Okay,
Rob, okay, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'll turn it right over to you, Todd, after this.
Sure.
But I have a burning question. But
Yeah.
if I'm a customer, if I go to AT&T and I want to buy a SIM card to plug into your Brax phone, even though the phone may be degoogled, but that SIM card is tied to my identity, right? So I need an anonymous SIM card.
Not necessarily, because, and this is the nice thing with with the Google phones, there is actually no way for apps to pull the identifier from the phone if it's the Google. The only entity that can pull identifiers like IMSI, IMEI, and all this from the phone while you're using an app is Google. And because that code is taken out, they can't do it. Now, the phone carrier obviously knows who you are.
Yeah, the phone carrier, right.
But they don't know what you're doing on the phone. They just know that you're using a phone and you have a phone number. And that doesn't relate to what apps you're using. They can't, for example, tell that you're going to Brighteon.com and doing anything like that. They're not going to see that.
Right. Okay.
So it's called partitioning. Just to understand this from a privacy basis, you can't hide. You can't hide from everything because of KYC. Know your customer laws. So you're not trying to hide. What you do is partitioning your activity so that in each partition of activity, in this case the SIM card, they can't really tell what it is you're doing that can be collected as data. If you're doing search activity, that goes through the data channel encrypted. That's not captured by the carrier. It's going to be captured by the search engine, but the search engine has no identity. So let's say you're using Start Page or Brave or DuckDuckGo or one of those. They don't have an identity because you don't have a Google ID. So that's what I mean by partitioning. All these are all privacy tools. If you again think in the big picture, is what are you trying to do? You're trying to make sure that whatever you do on the internet, you make sure that the identity is obfuscated in some way. Now, sometimes we don't care. Let me just make this clear. If you're going to a government website, you can't hide your identity. If you're going to a bank, you can't hide your identity. But who cares? They already know who you are. Right? The problem is, can Google or Amazon or anybody else see your bank activity? That's what you worry about. But because of the way the Google phones work, you can't do that.
Quick question. Probably a silly question, but I've had the same cell phone number for years and years and years. Can that be ported over to my de-Googled phone? Oh, really?
Well,
okay.
All you do is move the SIM card over, then the same number. It's the same number.
Okay, cool.
So take the SIM card from existing phone, move it to the Google phone, and the number is now transferred. That's it.
And Todd, I mean, the phone and SMS texting will all work natively.
Everything's the same.
Right away. Yeah, it's all the same. But I think it's also a good idea to change your phone with some frequency, because we've all seen stories of, one of the ways that the FBI actually gets logs, conversation logs and call logs, is just by following people like Mike Lindell. They followed Mike Lindell to a drive-through restaurant, and they took his phone. They said, give us your phone. And his phone had, the full Rolodex of everybody that he'd been talking to about whatever. Yeah. And the thing is, all your logs are there. So if you, not that you're even trying to hide anything, again, we don't promote any kind of illegal or immoral behavior, but just in the sense of privacy, if you change your phone every 3 months, then you can't have more than 3 months of a log file on there, no matter what. But like my phone, this phone doesn't even get phone calls or phone text. I don't have SMS. Okay. This is data only. And that's the only way I actually communicate with anybody. But
so then when you drive around and you have your other phone, you put that in a Faraday bag so you can't be tracked, or what, Mike?
If I had a phone you could put it in a Faraday bag, but again, as Rob is going to say, the minute you take it out of that bag, unless it's de-Googled, then Google's going to know where you are the minute it reconnects to Wi-Fi or the cell towers.
Right. So, now just to be clear, currently Android phones, Google Android phones, if you turn it off, it's off. So you don't need a Faraday bag with a Google phone. If you have an iPhone, oh, now we're talking a different story. iPhones actually report their activity or location even when off. It turns into an AirTag. So iPhones are very dangerous devices because there's actually no way to stop it from tracking you without putting it in a Faraday bag. So my iPhone, I have a test iPhone. I don't use it for anything else anymore. It's just for testing, and I have it in a Faraday bag all the time because and it maybe gets out of the Faraday bag once a year, and it doesn't have a SIM card. It doesn't do anything. So I have a secondary phone when I travel, a standard Android phone, which is off. And I have a different name on it, different stuff on it. So, and if somebody took my phone, even my current Google phone, and said, "Oh, let me see what activity you have on there," and they're not going to find much either because I tend to not rely on the phone too much. Most of my stuff is on a computer, not a phone.
Yeah. Now, Rob, I have a question for you. Do you run PCs or Macs on your computer?
PCs.
Okay.
Linux.
And Linux.
I have. I guess I got mostly Linux and then some Windows.
Okay. So there are a lot of good open source whole drive encryption programs for Linux and PCs and Windows and so on, where it encrypts the entire bootloader sequence, right? So it starts to boot up, and you have to enter the decryption password to decrypt the whole drive to even boot the operating system. Is there anything like that for mobile phones where you turn it on and it's all encrypted?
In fact, that was just my video from 2 weeks ago. It's automatic with phones. That's standard with. It's part of Android for a long time now. It's part of iPhone. Encryption is built in, and the code for decrypting it is attached to either your PIN code or PIN code. The PIN code actually translates to the encryption code, which is kept in a part of the phone in flash memory. It's only on the phone. It's called the secure enclave on an iPhone, but something similar on an Android. And so your phone is automatically encrypted. There's actually no way to take that data unless there is a way, but it's pretty sophisticated.
Really?
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about it on the phone. If somebody tried to say, okay, I'm going to go reinstall the operating system on here and try to take your data, it erases that partition because the encryption can't be broken.
Wow.
See, I did not know that, obviously, but
that's on all phones.
Does that mean that if I change the PIN, that then somehow it's going to re-encrypt using that PIN as the encryption key? Because I've never noticed it doing that before.
Well, you won't know that. There's nothing to notice. It's just part of the.
It's just doing it in the background?
way the operating system works. Right? It's actually in the hardware.
Hey, okay. Rob, another newbie question here. Are SIM cards agnostic? Like, can I take it from my iPhone and then put it in a degoogled phone?
Yeah. Well, the carrier may set limits and say, we're going to check the model and see if this is a supported phone because they want to check that it's not a 3G phone. But beyond that, it's really agnostic. Yeah, they don't care.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to ask a question that is kind of like, when did you stop beating your wife? But we're talking privacy here, right? And you probably have some people out there who just really don't care. And so, Rob, let me ask you this. If you haven't done anything wrong, what do you have to hide, Rob Braxman?
So you do your normal stuff. I just told you a moment ago what a story that really relates to this. Moonshot CVE and how they collect that and categorize you. I didn't tell you the complete story with that Moonshot CVE Jigsaw, which are Google. It's a Google partnership to track people and classify them. So that's their job. Moonshot CVE classifies everyone that they can find, and then they say, okay, we will attack you by changing the internet that you see. So your search results change. And so you're being manipulated. Basically, if you let Google, as an example, Facebook will do the same. If you let these entities know what you believe, because you don't care, because you don't have no privacy interest, then you're opening yourself to manipulation, and you actually will begin to think what they want you to think.
Wow.
And is that something you want?
No.
You know, it's extremely disturbing when you actually, when you watch that video of mine that actually talks about this, where they actually manipulate search results. This is how they were using it early on. Their first attempt at this was this was actually sponsored by the nose ducking agency, in conjunction with GCHQ in the UK. And what they did was they went to this is the first contract with Moonshot TV and Google. They actually tracked or identified Muslims, young Muslims in London, and then the project was to change their internet. So I don't know everything they did to change the internet, but they certainly changed the search results. There may be some hidden things that they could have done, like packet injection and things to replace what they see. But they're basically saying, the idea is we want to stop extremism by changing the internet. The problem is they use that technology and says, if you are not thinking like, the group that we support, then what Google supports, then we're going to classify you in a way that puts you as a target for this. And that's what they did. So that's the problem.
Also, I got to say, during the most recent midterm elections, we saw that Google has a political profile of each user, so they know whether you lean left or right.
Oh, yeah.
And so for the more left-leaning users, they were given on election day, they had reminders when they went to google.com, reminders, get out and vote. But for the more conservative-leaning users, there were no reminders whatsoever. So that's just blatant election manipulation.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's subtle, but you multiply that by tens of millions of people, and it can rig an election.
That's right. And all you do is, bias a news report or hide a news report. Google controls everything that goes into a Google phone. They can actually stop certain news articles from showing up. They have Google has something called Google Safety Net. This is part of the thing that's built into Chrome, for example. And Google Safety Net can intercept any content based on a link that they think is unsafe. For example, just if there's a anti-vax kind of video or something, and somebody put a link and shared it on social media, they can block that link
at the browser.
On the phone itself, even on any site, using Google Safety Net. Google Safety Net is meant to block malware, but it can actually block anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of danger we expose ourselves when we don't care about our privacy and allow people to classify us. So I don't want to be classified. I don't talk politics in my videos. I don't talk politics in my channel. I don't really care what the politics are, because what I'm trying to talk about is really a global problem, and whoever is in power can control the messaging, and I want to stop that.
Well, as long as they save me with that safety net from going to Brighteon.com, because, oh my goodness.
Imagine what you might learn there.
Yeah, I actually think Google is, they did go to a point in time to where they did a little U-turn, and I kind of thought they became one of the most honest companies out there, because remember when they had, I think it was Do No Evil?
Do No
and
Evil,
then what was
evil.
it? Yeah.
Don't be evil, but right. Don't be evil. And then they forgot the don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, they just.
Yeah. Now they acknowledge, okay, it's okay to be evil.
Yeah. We encourage it.
So Rob, on a practical note then, you mentioned you have the Brax 3 phones eventually coming out, and Brax 2 you don't have anymore. I hope this is okay. A little bit of criticism is that your phone supply just isn't big enough for the number of people that need these phones. Mm-hmm. Are you getting a bigger supply chain going?
Yeah, well, hopefully hopefully we are able to order the phones in big bunches. So if we're out of if we go out of stock, it's not from a big number. It's usually because we're at the tail end of a production run.
So are you always reordering? You're going to have stuff back in stock soon?
Yeah, right. So we did. So, but at the tail end of it, because the new model's coming out, it didn't make any sense to order a new model. So,
Right.
but we always had Pixels. We flash other OSs on it. By default, we use Calyx OS on the phones that we sell. Although you can request any other OS you want.
So
When will the Brax 3 be out, Rob?
I don't know yet, but maybe October.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
So right
Okay.
around the corner.
Okay,
That's good.
Cool. And you said Calyx. You like Calyx over Graphene or the others?
Yeah, it's for more a user friendly experience. It's more adaptable to the normal person. It's not so aggressive with trying to limit you in what you can do on a phone.
Okay.
And so for the kind of market that I see, for what people demand, that's what we were using for a long time. We were using Lineage OS, which is also very user friendly. So between the two, though, Calyx is easier to update.
Okay.
So we have been preferring Calyx OS. And you know what? Personally speaking, there are other OSs out there, and they're all good. For example, somebody, the developer of EOS, Foundation, came to me and talked to me on X, and I've always known EOS. They're fine.
I've used them before too.
Yeah, they're mostly in Europe though. So if you're in the European market, they're easier to get them because they're based in France, I think. As far as I'm concerned, they all do the same thing. They're all based on AOSP with everyone just a slight tweak here and there and maybe a different interface. EOS is kind of like that, like middle of the road, not extreme in terms of features, and fairly friendly to a new user, rather than somebody trying to be a super secret agent kind of use, which is the normal person. So for the normal person, I prefer Calyx, Lineage, and EOS and Brax OS. So those are more for the typical user experience.
Okay, very
Rob,
cool.
You mind
Tom.
me asking what the cost would be or will be for the Brax 3?
I don't know the cost yet, but the
for retail, I should say.
right the Brax 2 was selling for $420.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we sell phones in our store from typically about 3 something to 6 something if you're going to go into the high-end Pixels. So
Okay.
so it's cheaper than getting an iPhone.
Yeah, it is.
Much
Yeah, it
cheaper
is.
than an iPhone.
And
Not gonna spend $900.
People can find the store on brax.me or
Right,
robbraxman.com.
It's Brax.me. So
Okay,
you
Brax.
sign. It's a social media site. It's not a store. It's a social media
Right.
site. You come in there and the store is on the menu. It's a social media site. In theory, anyone can make a store on Brax.me, but the store default is mine.
okay.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
now, we didn't discuss this beforehand or anything, but I just want to give you the opportunity. Sometimes we have guests come on and they want to offer extra bonuses or goodies if somebody uses a coupon code from the show or something. You have anything like that you want to offer?
I did not. I did not plan on it, and I don't even have a product that would match that. So
Okay.
I'm completely unprepared. I totally didn't.
Well,
No
the
worries.
door is open, Rob. If you ever want to have something like that, we'd be happy to plug that for you.
I appreciate it. What I like to do is have them go to YouTube and look for Rob Braxman Tech,
Perfect.
and they'll see all the
Okay.
videos, and that's the way they can learn about some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I cater to a wide variety of people. Some are very, very non-techie to the very techie, and
Yeah.
I have a mix of videos for everyone. And so if you're very techie, you will find material for that. If you're not too techie, I have a beginner section. And
it's
that's very important.
Yeah, it's important that everybody go to Rob Braxman's Braxman Tech on YouTube and subscribe, because you are this close from 400,000 subscribers, aren't you?
No, I already. When you do a live stream on YouTube, you lose subscribers. So last night I did a live stream, so my numbers went below.
They did. So you already were
like
there. Wow.
399,991 or something.
Well, that's amazing nonetheless.
So it was at 400. It was like 450 or something, and 400,050, and then if you do a live stream and it goes, it's always the case. So
that's funny.
So it's 400. So yeah.
Well, all I know is from a 3-year standing start. You said that when you migrated over to YouTube, 400,000 subscribers is just absolutely astonishing. So well done, sir.
Great job.
No, it is embarrassing that I am only at 400 after all these years, because I was already over 300 last year. So it's not moving as fast as I expected. And I'm concerned about that, because it means, are people actually concerned about privacy? Maybe they're getting less concerned.
It means they're just waiting for the CBDCs to come and say, hey.
yeah.
And then maybe they'll be interested.
They just love that. I did a video about that. So several videos about that. So maybe they love that, because I in my video I showed this Chinese man that said, "Oh, this is so convenient to use digital currency. It's just awesome, convenient as heck."
Well, that's it. People will trade their privacy for convenience. Many people, until one day it matters, and they realize, oh, I'm not allowed to say this thing. So that's happening. But Rob, I also want to encourage you. You're always welcome on Brighteon.com and other platforms, and be sure to diversify in case the thought police come to you one day on YouTube, right? So always diversify.
Well, thank you. I will review the setup on your platform, and I appreciate the invite.
You would be very popular, and you're always welcome back on the show as well. And so we're gonna wrap up this segment with you, Rob, and thank you for your time. And then Todd and I we do a little reaction talk. But is there anything else you want to add, Rob, before you go?
No, thank you for having me. That's been great.
We really enjoy your presence, and we love your work. So thank you.
And
folks,
Rob,
yep.
And Rob, I just want to say that I have made the decision to cancel the chip that I was going to put in my forehead to be able to buy and sell after speaking with you, because I think that's a really bad idea now.
Well, we're going to have to not de-Google our phones and de-microchip our palms.
There you go.
Apparently. Yeah. Okay, so the website is brax.me. It's spelled just like it sounds, BRAX, brax.me. And check out Rob Braxman's channel on YouTube, which is, I think, what do you say, Rob Braxman Tech? Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And you'll learn a lot, folks, seriously. And it will complement this show. Everything you learn from Rob Braxman will go along with what you're learning here. And pretty soon, you'll be a privacy pro, which is what we should all be. So thank you so much, Rob. Pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks, Rob. You were great.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, Todd, let's take a quick break. And you want to do or do you need a break, or you just want to go?
I'm go.
Okay,
I'm in go mode.
Let's just go. Let's keep going. And yeah, Rob, thank you so much. We're going to do the segment now where we talk about you.
Can I hang up here, or how?
Yeah, you can hang up.
Sure.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Thanks,
All right.
Rob.
Bye. Join the official discussion channel for this show on Telegram at t.me/decentralizedtv, where you can ask questions or offer suggestions of who we should interview next. Also be sure to subscribe to the email newsletter on decentralized.tv, where you'll be alerted about 1 day in advance of each new upcoming episode, before it gets published. On decentralized.tv, you'll also find links to our video channels and social media channels across all platforms, including Brighteon, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, Truth Social, and more. Check it all out at decentralized.tv. All right, well, that was a very fun interview, Todd. What'd you think?
Man, I just love his personality. You know, he's one of these people that brings joy and energy to an interview. You can just see it. And I can understand why he has 400,000 subscribers, because, you just kind of feel better after listening to him.
He's very practical and knowledgeable, very bright, but also really practical. And he doesn't come across as like some people in the privacy space that I've seen on YouTube look super sketchy.
Yeah.
They're just these super sketchy personalities that maybe cater to, smugglers or who, I don't know. But Braxman is he's like just a business professional guy, just laying it out for everyday people.
As he was talking, he reminded me of Ruben from Firo, to where he's just got that low key personality, complimentary of other, other operating systems, and just, I don't know, just very, very practical.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't wait to go back, and shame on me for not having consumed a ton of his content up until, knowing this interview is going to happen. But I'm absolutely subscribed, and I'm going to, on purpose with intent, go really, really invest a lot of time binge watching his past videos.
Well, if you're in the market for a degoogled phone, you should get on his list for the Brax 3. I was trying to buy the Brax 2 previously, but at the time that I was looking at it, it was sold out. So I don't have one of his phones. And now,
I would appreciate you sending me his contact information after the show, and I am going to get on that wait list because it sounds fascinating. I mean, I will do that. I'm going to make that a point to where he's going to be my go-to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and but now I'm set with this phone, and then I have the above phone that is new that I'm using right now too. So I guess I'm just going to have like all kinds of options for degoogled phones, which is a good thing to have. You can kind of choose the one.
How are you enjoying your above phone, Mike?
It's working great.
Awesome.
I mean the hardware is Google Pixel hardware, so the hardware is solid, and the apps are great. And I just installed Cake Wallet on it again.
Beautiful.
Flawless. I've found that everything that I want to run works on these phones.
Yeah.
Rob was saying that, what do you say? Uber and Lyft don't work on a degoogled phone. Well, I don't use Uber and Lyft.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Because I have a car. I mean, I have a truck, and I'm driving around with my security dog, in my vehicle.
But Mike, when you vacation for those 3 months in the smart cities, you may need Lyft.
Man, I can't stand getting into other people's cars because they're all full of fragrance.
Oh, right. You are so sensitive.
I'm sensitive to that. And it's got everybody's perfume, and it's got everybody's, body lotion and hair shampoo and everything. And did you know that these driverless taxis now, people are having sex in them?
No way.
Yes, they are. Because it's cheaper than renting a room.
Oh my gosh!
So like a young couple, they're like, let's hook up in the driverless cab. So now
I don't even know where you would find a driverless cab.
Well, in California they have them running around blocking roads.
Then they're probably putting on billboards. Have sex in our cars.
Well,
in California,
apparently the key, in order to make sure that nobody else is looking in, you have to bring up the heat and perspiration very quickly to fog up the windows. And that's your privacy right there.
Right.
So if you're going to have sex in a RoboCab, fog it up.
Some entrepreneur is going to create a Instafogger,
Instafogger. Yeah. But I feel sorry for the next passenger that gets in that cab. Like what's the scene? What just happened in here? And robo-taxis are, I guess it's like, mobile hookup locations now at this point. But anyway, we're getting off topic as usual.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be a Friday if we didn't.
No, we definitely have to get off topic. But anyway, bringing it back to Rob Braxman.
Yeah.
I mean, he's stuck with his focus for all the years that he's been doing this.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable. He's helped a lot of people achieve privacy. And then, he found his own kind of business solution was to become the retailer of the Brax branded phones, which I think
Love
is
it.
genius.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know who's making the phones. But I'm sure it's
Google.
Well, he has Google, but I think he uses another manufacturer for his Brax branded phones.
Right.
But
right.
whoever it is, obviously he's doing quality control and he's flashing the OS and he's putting the apps on it, and it's kind of the Brax experience. So it's going to be privacy protected out of the box.
I'm getting one without question.
I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I am absolutely. That's going to be my. I'm excited. October can't. My birthday is Columbus Day. It's October 12th. So that's what I'm going to ask my wife to get me for my birthday is a Brax 3.
Well, okay, perfect. There you go.
See, she orders it. So then it's then the identity is associated with her, Mike. See what I did there?
Yeah. Well, and remember, you can pay in Bitcoin, he said. So
that's right.
You can take some of your privacy coins, you can swap it for Bitcoin and set up a temporary Bitcoin wallet with no history, and then send that over to Braxman.
Perfect.
And then
done.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about privacy violations of your Bitcoin wallet.
Right.
Just do like a one-time throwaway wallet.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we got to get Rob to take privacy coins. That's
certainly XMR, right? I mean,
you got to start out by taking Monero for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that just makes all kinds of sense. But yeah. Maybe we do a follow-up with him.
That's right.
Give him a little friendly nudge.
We'll nudge Rob. Come on, accept Monero. And the other thing is, the affiliate partner with us, Above Phone, they allow you to buy the SIM cards with Monero, which I love that fact, because even though Rob is absolutely correct that a degoogled phone blocks Google from tracking you, but law enforcement can still go to the AT&T carrier or whoever, and they can get log data of when your phone checked in with which tower.
Okay.
Which is sort of saying where you are.
Right.
Not through Google, but through the carriers, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a SIM card that you purchased anonymously with Monero,
bingo,
then there's no tie to your name, your credit card, your social.
No.
Nothing. So that's
and then you don't need a VPN for those phones then, right?
Well, I always figured I would still use a VPN on. I mean, why not? Because
that's true.
There are statistical analyses that can be done on traffic patterns from certain IPs, right? So I think it's always a good idea to use a VPN. We didn't ask Rob. We should have asked him about this, but I think you should use a VPN. And a VPN, you have to purchase it with crypto.
Yes.
Not a credit card, obviously.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And there's only a few VPNs really that support privacy crypto like Monero.
Yes. And we were discussing this before, and on purpose, you don't want to share or reveal who those are. People can do their own research, right?
Well, no, let me say this. I want to get one of those VPN companies on the show that accepts crypto. We should have them on the show and talk about that.
Perfect.
Because I think it's an essential tool for people. And also VPNs that don't log activity.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you sign up for a VPN and you use a credit card, boom, it's tied to you. And then if that VPN is logging all your traffic, I mean, you've created a worse privacy situation, because now there's another copy of all your activity that could be confiscated by, some law enforcement somewhere for some reason that's no fault of yours. So it's stupid to use a VPN that logs.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. I never thought they logged.
Oh, most of them log.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they're honeypots for the FBI, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just handing over all your activity to another company.
Good gracious. Yeah, we need to find the just right solution,
Yeah, well, they do exist. Yeah.
Perfect.
But
let's make it our mission.
They're not the ones that, I mean, I know some influencers out there that plug VPNs.
Yeah.
And the VPNs they plug, I would never use.
Okay. Yep. Good.
I'll just say it straight out.
Good.
Because
ultimately, I think the purpose of this show, Mike, is we want to be able to deliver to people solutions that I'm gonna say it. Kid tested, Mike approved.
Yeah, like rigorously approved.
Yes.
We go through. I mean, for example, when it comes to VPNs, it's simple. You want to use a VPN that accepts Monero
Yep.
and that doesn't log server files. So if you search for those two things, there's not that many. It's a pretty short list.
Okay.
It's very simple. And then the other thing that I strongly recommend that you do with a VPN is you should change the server that it's going through.
Yes.
Every day.
Every day.
One day you're going through Dallas, the next day you change it to Atlanta, the next
LA,
day, So, or outside the country, switch it over to Toronto or something, or go to Europe, just take a world tour. It's like throw off different IP addresses all the time.
Right. Yeah. That
makes sense.
I've been doing that for forever with my VPN, but now I'm starting to question my VPN.
Yeah, well,
but I always thought it was kind of cool, just be able to go to US and swipe down, and all of a sudden, let's do LA today.
Right. But think about cryptocurrency privacy too, Todd, because when you're doing crypto trades or purchases or whatever, sending money to people through crypto, you are leaving an IP fingerprint.
Okay.
So you might as well obfuscate that IP address so that's one less piece of information that could be statistically tied to you.
Right.
Even if you're doing a privacy crypto transaction.
Okay. So the VPNs, though, the ones that aren't Mike approved, when I am going through LA, let's say, they're capturing my IP address.
Yes.
But then it's obfuscated when I go to, joebiden.com.
Well, right. But that VPN has logged both of those. So the VPN logged your originating IP and which websites you visited.
Gosh.
Right.
I am.
Or which IP address.
I'm astonished. I mean, I just never thought that one through. By the end of this weekend, I'm going to buy with Monero one that doesn't log server files and one that accepts Monero.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy not to.
Well, this is what Rob Braxman does really well too. He gets the public to think about things where you're like, oh yeah, why didn't I, concern myself with that before? Because a lot of these solutions are simple.
But this is one thing, Mike, that you hammer, right? Which is, I listened to your podcast from a couple of days ago where you're talking about losing weight. Just do one thing, for a week or whatever, eliminate one thing. But this is something people can do, right? Is for the next 2 weeks, let's just figure out where we can get a VPN, how to buy it with Monero that doesn't log server files. And then let's just start making it our habit to use that every day, through a different city, different country, whatever, but just get into the habit. So it's like your Rubik's Cube. You can do it without even thinking about it, right?
Yes. And there are some important subtleties to discuss in this area, beyond the scope of this show. But think about this. Rob Braxman talked about partitioning. So if you're logged into Google, and by the way, Todd, how much I kept hammering people. Even there was a certain person in the Epic community that kept distributing Google Docs files.
Google Docs, yeah.
And I kept yelling at that person, why are you in privacy crypto using Google Docs, right? And I say this to everybody, stop using Google, people. Stop using Gmail, stop using Google Docs, stop using Google Maps. Why are you doing this? I mean, even otherwise very capable people that I know are still using Google. But if you're logged into Google and you're using Google services from your regular IP address, and then you install a VPN and you switch your IP to LA, let's say, thinking that, okay, now I'm going to hide everything going through LA. But you realize that since you're logged into Google, that the very next thing you access that has a Google component, which could be a website with a Google Statistics component on it, then Google is going to now tie your identity to the LA IP.
Wow.
You see? So you've just told Google that you're now using a VPN with an LA IP address.
Yeah. Right? I just thought of something. Google Docs, google.do, it would be, what is it? DOCS?
Yeah.
That's Google Docs?
Yes.
It's actually Google Docs. DOX.
Oh, DOX. Yeah, true. Google doxed you. Yeah, exactly. But so what I recommend is, again, along the lines of what Braxman said, is you should partition your activity. So, for example, at my desk, I have a separate computer system where I do journalistic research on topics that I'm going to write about, but I don't want to leave a search trail. Right. That system, for example, I might be writing about nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Right? Or even I might have to search for, what are the isotopic ratios of uranium or enriched uranium in a nuclear warhead, right? Mm-hmm. Do I want that to be tied to my name? No.
Good point.
Hell no. Right? So I have a separate computer that's never, ever been logged into anything. And by the way, I use the Brave search engine or pre-search or something else, or maybe Start Page. I'll use a completely different search engine on a VPN using a different city in order to run searches for things that I think might red flag, might get you red flagged by Google.
Okay.
So again, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not trying to build a nuclear weapon, obviously, but I'm trying to understand how they might be built so that I can understand who could carry out nuclear terrorism or false flags or whatever.
Right. Sure.
So if you're a journalist and you're researching things, you need to concern yourself with your privacy.
Yeah. Wow. Man, I learn so much every time we do one of these shows, Mike.
Me too. Yeah, that's why it's great that we have guests like Rob Braxman on, and he's welcome back. But you know what? Yeah, we do have another guest coming in shortly. So let's plug our sponsors today and kind of wrap this up. You good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Couple things. Let's start with you, Todd. Decentralizeddirectory.com. How's that going, by the way? Tell us about that website.
It's going good. I have received 3 bookings thus far.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. It's working flawlessly to where somebody who books time with me, they will end up getting a Zoom link. I'll get a Zoom link. The meeting, we'll carve it out, and then we'll meet. And when we do, I share, Mike, decentralized living strategies that help people keep more of the money they earn. And all of this is done privately, helps people get white gloves treatment with service providers that have to do with precious metals, private crypto, food forests, even solar. And each one of these relationships that I have forged, I have done myself, which is why I have so much passion about this, because I am the case study and I just share what I have done. And I have the track record to be able to demonstrate how much money that I have saved and how I believe wise it is to execute this escape plan. Because, Mike, it's really about an escape plan of taking your melting dollars, your crappy green cash, getting it out of the banking system and protected to where it's being preserved. It's not being inflated away. And to be able to have self-custody. Everything that I share is about self-custody. And I just can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so encouraged. And I thank you, Mike, for giving me the motivation to actually begin this journey. Oh, no, thank you for taking this on, because you're going to be overloaded actually with requests soon. But the website, folks, is decentralizeddirectory.com. You want to check that out and get consulting directly with Todd Pittner. Now, and again, thank you, Todd. The next thing I want to mention, we have a new affiliate for the show, which is abovephone.com/DTV. Now, I guess you could call them a competitor of Braxman. So let me just say on the record, I wholly support Rob Braxman and his phones, and we don't have any sponsorship relationship with him or anything. But if you want to get a Braxman phone, I think that's a great choice, by the way. And Todd, you're going to get one. But
also consider Above Phone, because Above Phone has degoogled Google hardware with their own apps installed on it. And Above Phone does accept Monero right now for payment.
Beautiful.
And Above Phone can also sell you the data SIM cards with Monero, and you can actually just you can pay for it on the phone itself. So you can just re-up the bandwidth allowance on that data card from the phone. You just set up a Monero wallet on the phone, which works great. I just installed Cake Wallet on one of these phones from Above Phone. So we do earn an affiliate fee with Above Phone if you purchase from them, but it's no extra charge to you as the end user. So if you want to give us credit for that and check it out, go to abovephone.com/DTV, like decentralized TV. Or check out the Rob Braxman phone at brax.me. And I think either way, you're going to improve your privacy. Speaking of phones, also, our regular sponsor is the Satellite Phone Store at sat123.com for satellite communications using the Iridium network. Those are the phones they have available now. The Inmarsat are all gone, sold out. But the Iridium phones and also the Bivy Sticks, which is two-way satellite text messaging that does not need a cell tower, doesn't work via 5G or anything like that. It just talks to the satellites. So go to sat123.com and you can check that out. And so those are your options for today, folks. I mean, a couple of sponsors and some really good solutions. And Todd, anything else you want to add to that before we wrap it up?
No, thank you for educating me on startpage.com. That was new to me.
Yeah, well, I don't use Startpage much because there's still just Google, but it's a proxy for Google, as Rob said.
Okay. What do you use? You like Brave? And
I like Brave, frankly. I mean,
and what do you find about Presearch?
Well, Presearch, I mean, they do their own indexing, as I understand it, and so sometimes they get better results. I like Brave and the whole Brave ecosystem with their attention tokens, their browser, their their search, and so on. I think that the people at Brave have a very pro-privacy philosophy.
Okay, great.
And so I think it's smart to support them, and they have a very honest advertising model for their search engine. So not afraid to promote Brave, and also, by the way, like invite someone from Brave to come on the show if someone's listening.
That would be fantastic.
You want to come on? Yeah, I mean, we'd love to help promote Brave on this show.
And by the way, Mike, I want to thank our audience who they come into our Telegram, Decentralized TV, if you just search for that or click down below. And come on in, and we're getting people who are making all kinds of good recommendations of people who we should consider having on. And it's just nice seeing that people are thinking about it. They're thinking about privacy. They're thinking about decentralization.
Yes.
And it's really cool to see that community grow, Mike.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you, Todd, for helping to run that as well. And folks, visit us on Telegram at the Decentralized TV chat channel. Or you can find links for all of this that we're talking about, including Above Phone and also Todd's site, the directory. You can find all these links at decentralized.tv. Did you see, Todd? We added a couple of text links.
I did not. I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
wait.
That went up I think yesterday, so it's live.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect.
All right. Well, let's wrap up today, and I think a great episode. Thank you, Todd, and we want to thank Rob. A wonderful guest, just a super cool guy.
I hope he comes back. I mean, I hope we just scratched the surface with him. I'd love it to make him a regular quarterly guest.
Let's get him back to talk about VPNs and then maybe show off his new phone. And also, I forgot to ask him, how'd you get the name Braxman? Because it's a pretty cool name.
Yeah,
it's a very rugged name.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with Braxman.
No,
no.
I would self-identify as a Braxman.
Yeah, it's like a special forces operator named Braxman. I'm part Brax and all man. Braxman. It's like sounds like
you know what Braxman needs?
What?
It needs your new knife. That's coming out.
No, I've got the battle
knife.
tomahawk over here. By the way, hold on, let me actually show it.
Oh, I want to see.
By.
What do you call the one that I'm ordering, Mike? That I had you. I think he took his earpiece out.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Keep going. I need to make sure.
Yeah, Mike, what's the name of the one that I asked you to put aside one for me to make sure that I can buy it? What's the name of it? Great name of your knife that you had special made.
Wait, I'm sorry. I just got my earpiece back in. What was that?
What is the name of that awesome new knife that you had special made that I said reserve one for me, please?
Yeah. No, I co-designed a knife that's coming out, and it's called Escape from LA. And but this should be the Braxman. Hardware.
Yeah.
Like these are made by Dawson Knives, and this is corrosion resistant. What's it called? It's called Magna Cut. Yeah, that's the special metal that goes into this, so it's corrosion resistant. And the handle is all G10. Of course, it's full tang, super thick, and it's got a crusher on the end of it here.
Oh, beautiful.
And I mean, look at the shape of this badass.
That is badass.
I mean, this is 100% Braxman right here. We got to send him one of these. That's what we should do.
Yeah, that just, I don't know, Mike, but I just got a shot of testosterone that
I know.
After seeing that I feel way more of a man right
That's
now.
right.
So thank you.
This is the manly portion of the show right now. Okay. So, we'll get, this should be in the hands of Mel Gibson, in that.
Oh yeah.
What was the movie? About the revolution.
Braveheart.
Braveheart. No, the other one where he was in the U.S., the Revolutionary War. What was that called? The Patriot.
Oh,
yeah.
The Patriot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Mel Gibson should have this.
Yes, he
should. For the
should.
Patriot Part 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Perfect.
Who we forgot to plug is the maker of the mugs and the hats and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to plug them. So, folks, that's redpillprints.com. Just go to redpillprints.com/DTV. And you're going to find all this stuff, the shirts, the mugs, the hats, and unfortunately not the battle axe. That is not yet part of the, that's a special order item right there.
Yeah. But I do have to share again that I am having them specially make a shirt that says, at this point, wearing and then it'll be a graphic of a mask, is an IQ test.
Yeah.
I can't wait to start wearing that one.
Isn't that true?
And on the back, decentralized.tv.
Love it. All right. Great show today, Todd. And thank you for being here. And I want to thank our audience for watching, and feel free to share this show and, support our guests and support our sponsors, and just most importantly, take action to boost your own privacy. That's what this is all about. This is not just entertainment, obviously. Don't just watch it and say, oh, that was fun, and then go on and use your iPhone. I mean, come on. Stop using Google. Stop using Apple.
Right.
Get into a degoogled environment and start protecting your privacy, because you don't know when, some agency is going to retroactively go back in time and say, oh, you were there at that time and that day, and now we're going to throw you in jail for 2 years without trial, by the way, because that's happened to hundreds of Americans.
So Mike, you don't care about porting a number, right? I mean, you change phones every 3 months, or you just update your phone number with people?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into all the details of what I do, but I change my phones frequently. Yeah.
Okay.
But the phone, like this phone that I have with me right now, it doesn't even have my phone number. Nobody can call me on this phone. It doesn't have a phone number.
Okay.
It's just a data phone.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So people try to call me and text me, and the reason it doesn't take any of my time is because I never see it.
Got it.
It's so awesome.
And then there's that.
Yeah. It's like, it's the best time management program ever. Yeah, right. It's just like every phone call goes somewhere else. So awesome.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah. I maybe I should announce a time management course.
Yes, you should.
It's very simple. Take this tomahawk and smash your phone. You will save a huge number of hours of your life. You will be happier and healthier as a result.
Love it.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Mike Adams here of Brighteon.com. And this is, of course, Decentralized TV. Check out all the other episodes that you may have missed, some of them with real gems of information that can be very useful for you. But check it all out at decentralized.tv. Take care.
Cheers.